Hello, everyone. Thank you once again for taking the time to listen today. In this session, I'd like to take a deep dive into the final teaching within the Buddhist concept of the Four Noble Truths, the truth of the path. If you've ever faced unbearable suffering in your life and wondered, how can I overcome this pain? Then the teaching of the path offers a profound clue that may help guide you. So far, we've explored the first three of the Four Noble Truths, the truth of suffering, which points to the very existence of suffering, the truth of the cause, which reveals its origin, and the truth of cessation, which shows us that liberation from suffering is possible, known as nirvana. Now we turn to the final truth, path, which refers to the concrete process, the way of practice that leads us toward that liberation. The Buddha often emphasized a central message: I teach only suffering, its origin, its cessation, and the path that leads to its cessation. This truth of the path lies at the very heart of Buddhism. It offers a direct, practical answer to the essential human question: how should I live? So, what exactly is this path? It is what we call the Noble Eightfold Path, a collection of 8 areas of practice: right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Each of these is far more than a mere set of moral guidelines or social manners. They are deeply practical, transformative disciplines that nurture the mind, cultivate wisdom, and purify our defilements. And what's truly remarkable is that although the Buddha taught this path over 2,500 years ago, it remains completely relevant to us today, because it speaks to the very nature of the human heart. Take, for instance, right view. This is the wisdom to see things as they truly are, an ability to observe joy, sorrow, success, and failure without being swayed by any extreme. Even in today's world, where we are inundated with information and surrounded by bias and division, the ability to see clearly and accurately has never been more important. We are constantly exposed to countless sources of input, and sometimes we become confused or overwhelmed by preconceptions and misunderstandings. But right view trains us to see through the noise, to recognize what is essential with clarity and calm. Next comes right intention, which grows out of this clarity. It's the practice of thinking with kindness, compassion, and empathy toward others. This is an especially healing discipline. In a world where so many suffer in their relationships, so often conflict arises from our failure to understand the perspectives of others, choosing instead to judge only from our own limited viewpoint. But right intention invites us to imagine the world through another's eyes and respond with a warm, open heart. Then we have right speech, right action, and right livelihood. These teachings help us purify our words, behaviors, and way of life, to speak truthfully, to avoid harming others through our words or deeds, to earn a living in a way that does not exploit or injure. These may seem like basic moral concepts, yet in modern society, such fundamental values are often overlooked or sacrificed. In a world driven by intense competition, it's easy to deceive, to cut corners, or to act solely for personal gain. And that's precisely why this path offers us a way to rediscover a more honest, upright way of living. Let me go into a bit more detail about right speech. This teaching is not limited to avoiding lies. It also encourages us to refrain from words that hurt others, from idle chatter, gossip, or divisive talk. It calls us to speak kindly and constructively. Our words not only shape our own, once they reach deep into the hearts of others. A single word of kindness can brighten someone's day. A single word of cruelty can wound deeply. Practicing right speech means using the power of language in a way that heals and uplifts. Right action guides us to purify our behavior. It includes refraining from violence, theft, and sexual misconduct. Though these principles may sound simple on the surface, they are in fact deeply nuanced. For example, not stealing doesn't just mean avoiding theft in the traditional sense. It also includes not stealing time, not taking credit for others' efforts, and not exploiting the natural world beyond what we truly need. Right livelihood pertains to how we earn our living. The teaching urges us to avoid professions that harm others or rely on deception, such as dealing in weapons, trafficking in living beings, or selling poisons. In today's complex world, it may be difficult to find a job that is completely clean. Still, we can begin by becoming more aware. What kind of impact does my work have on the world? Starting from that awareness, we can make choices that move us closer to a life of integrity. Finally, we come to right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. The three disciplines that focus on the training of the mind. These are not simply moral rules, but deep mental and spiritual practices that reshape the inner landscape of our hearts. They help us avoid falling into bad habits, reinforce our wholesome tendencies, cultivate awareness of the present moment, and develop mental stability and calm. They are closely linked to what we now call mindfulness and mental training. Right effort means making the right kind of effort constructive, thoughtful, and consistent. It has four key aspects preventing unwholesome states of mind from arising: abandoning those that have already arisen, developing wholesome states that have not yet arisen, and nurturing those that already exist. In other words, it's a conscious, steady approach to our inner world, to the thoughts and emotions that arise within us each day. Right mindfulness is about directing our awareness to the present moment. Our minds are constantly pulled toward regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. But life only ever unfolds in the now. Through mindfulness, we learn to live more fully in the present. We train ourselves to observe bodily sensations, emotional shifts, mental states, and the surrounding environment without judgment, just as they are. Right concentration refers to a calm and focused state of mind cultivated through meditation. It's the practice of quieting mental distractions to access a deeper peace and clarity. Many people today are overwhelmed by constant stimulation and a flood of information. Through right concentration, we can rediscover the quiet, strength, and insight that lie within us. And so, the truth of the path is not a distant ideal or abstract philosophy. It is a real and practical map for living. It offers us a way to navigate suffering, not by avoiding it or denying it, but by walking through it with clarity, compassion, and strength. As we follow this path step by step, we draw closer to the freedom and peace that the Buddha saw so clearly. Let me share with you a story. One day, a disciple of the Buddha came to him and said, "Master, I don't have the talent to attain enlightenment. Unlike the other practitioners, I can't enter deep meditation nor gain profound wisdom. Perhaps there is no path for someone like me." The Buddha smiled gently and replied, "You are like a traveler who once lived in a distant town. He did not know the way to the capital and wandered in confusion. One day, he met someone who knew the path and was shown the right direction. From that moment on, he began walking step by step toward the capital. You are the same. Just keep walking the right path. As long as there is a path, you can reach the destination." This story beautifully encapsulates the essence of the path, or Magga, the fourth of the Four Noble Truths. Enlightenment does not require talent or special qualities. What matters is recognizing the right direction, believing in it, and steadily continuing to walk. That is the teaching of the Noble Eightfold Path. Many people believe that spiritual practice is beyond their reach, that enlightenment is only for those with extraordinary gifts. But the Buddha's teachings are open to everyone. What's important is to remember that we don't need to be perfect. The key is to walk forward at your own pace, step by step in the right direction. And this path is not one we must walk alone. In Buddhism, the Sangha, or the community of fellow practitioners, is deeply valued. We support and encourage each other along the way. Even today, having companions who share the same values or study together provides a powerful support for our practice. Trying to walk alone can sometimes lead to discouragement. But when we walk with others who face the same direction, we can uplift one another and help each other progress more steadily. This spirit of mutual support aligns with the modern concept of community and support groups. In today's world, the sheer number of choices in life often leaves us confused, uncertain of what is right. Choices about careers, relationships, money, time. There is an overwhelming flood of options and information. In such times, the framework of the Eightfold Path serves as a compass of the heart, guiding us back to what truly matters. Whenever we make a choice, we can ask ourselves, does this come from right view? Am I thinking based on right intention? Does this conflict with right speech, right action, or right livelihood? These questions help us make better decisions. They allow us to move beyond the influence of external authority or trends, and instead, make choices grounded in our own inner wisdom and compassion. It is important to understand that the Eightfold Path is not a checklist, to be completed from top to bottom. Rather, the 8 factors support and deepen each other in a continuous cycle. As our right view grows clearer, our speech and actions naturally follow. As we develop mindfulness, concentration arises. Practicing right effort helps to strengthen all the other aspects. Like spokes in a wheel, they all move together and lead us toward nirvana. You can start anywhere. Begin with the aspect that feels most approachable to you, and gradually extend your practice to other areas. For instance, you might start by paying closer attention to your speech. Avoid using words that hurt others, and try to speak with kindness and positivity. Even this small shift can change your inner world and the atmosphere around you. Or you might simply set aside a few minutes each day to focus on your breathing. That alone is a wonderful beginning. Buddhist teachings are not merely about comforting those who suffer. While they do offer solace and healing, they go further. They provide a path to truly move beyond suffering and live a life of freedom and compassion. They are not about resignation but transformation, a concrete and practical method to change for the better. To overcome suffering does not mean to run away from it. Rather, it means to understand suffering at its core and learn to face it calmly without being overwhelmed. Ultimately, it means to eliminate the causes of suffering and attain true peace and wisdom. That is the direction shown by the path, and that path can begin right here, right now. It starts with small steps, choosing your words with care, speaking with consideration, imagining yourself in someone else's position, reflecting on your actions at the end of the day, paying attention to your breath, pausing for a deep breath when anger or frustration arises. These little actions, taken one at a time, can lead to profound change. In fact, many people have shared how even these small practices have transformed their lives. What begins as a tiny shift grows with continuity, changing one's mindset, relationships, approach to work, and overall quality of life. This is the transformative power of the path. Among the 4 noble truths, the path may be the one that most directly empowers us to live fully. While the other truths describe our condition and the ideal state, the path tells us what we can actually do. A practical guide that begins today, not someday. The Buddha famously said, "Do not believe blindly. Test it through your own experience." This was not just a warning against blind faith, but a call to personal responsibility. The path is yours to walk. Don't depend on others, walk it with your own feet. Verify it with your own eyes. Experience it with your own heart. This is a vital teaching even in modern times. In a world overflowing with information, we tend to lean on others' opinions and authorities. But true wisdom and peace arise from within. Stories and theories may offer insight, but real understanding comes only through your own practice and experience. No life is free from suffering. This is a core realization in Buddhism. As long as we live, we will face illness, aging, loss, and failure. But there is a way to live without being consumed by suffering. While we cannot erase all pain, we can change how we respond to it. And the key lies in the teachings of the path. When faced with suffering, we often lose our calm, swept away by anger, sadness, fear, or despair, making the situation worse. But through the Eightfold Path, we cultivate wisdom and compassion. enabling us to face the same pain with a steadier, more constructive response. This does not mean becoming numb to suffering. As long as we are human, we will feel pain and sadness. But we learn not to be dominated by them. We learn to accept them and still hold on to hope and compassion. This is the true strength and freedom that Buddhism offers. Even in the modern world, these teachings offer hope to many those battling depression or anxiety, those struggling with relationships, or those feeling lost in life. For such people, the path offers not just comfort, but practical steps toward healing and clarity. It is more than a psychological trick, it is a transformative way of living. It does not merely soothe symptoms, but addresses the root causes of suffering, fostering deep healing and growth across all dimensions of life. So, starting today, even with just a single step, why not begin this journey of the heart? You don't need to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. What truly matters is simply beginning, and then continuing step by step at your own pace. This path will guide you toward true peace and wisdom. It is the very same path the Buddha walked 2,500 years ago, and countless others have followed ever since. And now that path lies open before you. Please take that first step with courage. Your journey will not only transform your own life, it will also shine the light of compassion and wisdom upon those around you, and perhaps even upon the world itself. Thank you for watching. Until next time, may your heart be at peace.